Welcome back to another episode of 3 or 4 or Wifey. Today discussing the prospect of Madison Beer. This is a girl on the internet that is known for being hot, and I think she sings a little bit. But I think she's one of the most attractive women on the planet, and we gotta assess, would you really commit to this sort of thing? Now, granted, I think she is 24 years old, so it's out of the question for a lot of young people in college. But we're just postulating, what if you're a 28-year-old guy? Would you wife her up, even though she is a famous girl on the internet, which probably means that you ought not commit to her long term, okay? Usually that really at best is like side piece, but realistically a lot of that times it's not even that. So let's go ahead and just get to the bottom of this and look through the Carfax. So just getting some of the more essential things out of the way here. We've got her Wikipedia loaded up, pre-installed. We've got her birthday being March 5th of 1999. So age-wise, again, if you're like the average 28-year-old guy that's watching this video, that's a good age for you. A girl that's like a couple years younger, that's fine. For me, on the other hand, born 2003, I'm a baby, that's fine. Also, let's keep in mind that she got her first little bud of fame in 2012, so she was like 13. She got media coverage when Justin Bieber posted a link of one of her covers, and her debut single was Melodies in 2013. So you can see there that she didn't really get famous out of being pretty. She got famous out of trying to be a singer, and maybe she so happened to be cute back then. I don't know. I haven't looked it up 10 years ago. But the fact is that we've got somebody who is not entirely focused on her looks, or at least she didn't start out that way. This was like, right during puberty, 13 years old. I'm trying to sing like Justin Bieber. That is kind of a wholesome thing. So that actually builds brownie points in my perspective, honestly. So not that bad. Now, if we were to look at just some other stuff she's got going on here, you'll notice that she's been active since 2012, which is notable. And then she's born in Jericho, New York, which we don't even know what that is. So let's look this up because this is kind of important to know. So she was born outside of New York in the suburbs. Okay, noted. Should I hold that against somebody here from New York? Does she have an annoying accent? I don't think so. So we'll leave that as it is for now. So she was born Madison Ellie Beer, okay? Born in Jericho, New York, to a Jewish family. Anyway, so that's just take a note of that, okay? I mean, you can make your opinion there. Her father, Robert Beer, is a real estate developer. Oh, I'm not surprised. And her mother, Tracy, worked as an interior designer before putting that aside to help Madison's career. Interesting. She has a younger brother, okay? She appeared on the cover of Child magazine for a modeling competition when she was 4. Okay, so that's kind of sus. Now there's nothing wrong in these sort of things. It's just that, typically you do get taken advantage of or something like that when you are that young, but let's keep reading. When she was around 6 or 7 years old, she was sexually abused by someone around her frequently. Her parents divorced when she was 7, and she celebrated her bar mitzvah in 2012. Okay, guys. Already sexually abused when she was 6 or 7 years old. That is tough. That is brutal. Yikes. Again, not her fault. But also, I literally just foreshadowed this whole thing. She was a child model at 4 years old, which is very precautious. And then is getting taken advantage of by God knows who a couple years later. I mean, so, that just makes all magazine companies look really scummy. But, I mean, I just gotta say, if I knew that a girl that I liked was abused at that young of age, I think that's a really big red flag. Again, not her fault, but also So, I mean, do you really want to deal with that baggage? Imagine she got taken advantage of by an older man or something, and now every time you try to touch her, she subconsciously correlates that with the guy who abused her. That is simply something that you ought not deal with if you're in a position to date this girl in the first place. You can probably go for a girl that's a little less pretty, but also not molested. So yeah, girls that got sexually abused are just not worth committing to. Even if they consensually did something, that's not even worth it, okay? So trust the plan. And, it'd be one thing if she got taken advantage of as a teenager, and even then you shouldn't commit. But on top of that, it was like 10 years before that when she was 7. That is gross. So don't commit to that ever. So wifey status is already in doubt. Now, you could have, and again, I haven't really dated a girl that was taken advantage of at that young of age, so I wouldn't know. But maybe you can save her. Maybe there's therapy that will get her to triumph over her molestation. I just really doubt it works. Or at least I'm not willing to try it out, okay? So maybe you guys can do that. I'm not, but okay. We're still going to entertain her because she is super hot. So, am I willing to override every single red flag aside from her maybe having AIDS? What? I mean, that's probably the one thing that would stop me from smashing, but let's try to get more information on her life. So she has been making music for several years, which is just, has it really gone viral? It hasn't. So she can't be that good. In 2016, she says that her sexuality on a chat is that I'm not a lesbian, but I definitely love girls. So I guess she's just being a pick-me. In 2020, she said that she is bisexual. Okay. So nothing too abnormal for a girl that is like, of the, just modernity, I suppose. Let me see. She dated a girl, or is this no? This is a guy. Okay, mental health. Beer has struggled with mental health issues and has stated that social media and the internet has contributed to them. She has engaged in self harm and has been diagnosed with bipolar. Yikes! 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 Okay, babe. So you're hot, but you were molested. You're an e-girl, and you have bipolar. Very exciting proposition, but not good for wifey status. I'll tell you what. Okay, Bobby. God damn it, Bobby. Okay. When Beer was 15, nude videos of her were leaked online. The incident, which she had reminded of her. Wait. When Beer was 15, nude videos of her were posted online. The incident, which she says reminded her of her sexual abuse she experienced as a child, contributed to her developing PTSD and attempting suicide twice. Guys, really? Really? So, hold on. So, her nudes leaked when she was 15. So, right off the bat, another red flag. She was posting nudes at 15, which is kind of common, honestly. Like, I obviously, these started like around the 7th grade for me in regards to like girls sending them around. And so, that, I guess that is somewhat normal, but that is a bad sign overall. So, like, just because it's normal doesn't mean that it's a great thing. So, I count that against her. Nudes at 15. She got revenge porn or something at 15, which means that, so I guess that is pretty embarrassing. That is pretty illegal too. So I wonder what happened to the guy who did that. I suppose it was a guy. And so she said she got PTSD from it because it reminded her of, so I guess her getting revenge porn reminded her of getting taken advantage of like when she was 6 years old, which is another red flag, by the way. So like I literally just made this up, by the way. I hadn't read this before. Oh, if you date a girl, whenever something sexually happens, she'll perceive it through the lens of when she got molested. And look at what just happened. She got revenge porn at 15, which has nothing to do at all with getting touched as a little kid. And then all of a sudden, you're going to, what? Say that you have PTSD because you got molested? As if those have anything to do with each other? So you can just see how this sort of like molestation thing is just carrying over and papering and, tar and feathering everything she does sexually afterwards. Because that's how, well, I guess guys do this too, where obviously if you get taken advantage of, that'll ruin you for the rest of your life, which is why it's such a grievous thing when a person obviously takes advantage of somebody sexually for their own pleasure. You will, get a nut in 20 minutes and ruin the fucking kid's life forever. So, of course, that is super disgusting. And unfortunately for her, that makes it a huge turnoff for anybody who wants to date her, like myself, let's say, because she clearly has these issues. So already PTSD over getting revenge porn, which a normal girl that was molested wouldn't have PTSD over, even though they like to cry about everything nowadays. And the other thing would be like, obviously, again, so nudes at 15, BPD, and PTSD, like as if she were in Iraq. But her Iraq is just that, oh, I'm a pretty girl that nudes leaked. Okay, well, oh my God. Anyway, I wonder if she's been nude as an adult, though. I'm curious. I'm a little bit curious. Okay, so she was on RuPaul's Secret Celebrity Drag Race. Okay, that's tough. That is tough. That is odd. Okay, disavow. Cringe. Okay, let's look at her YouTube channel. 3.4 or 3.04 million subscribers. Okay, let's go ahead and just show you this right now. So let's go ahead and show you. All right, so you can see that she has 3 million subscribers, but most of her stuff does not have even 10% of the views. You know what I mean? So like her YouTube channel isn't even doing great at all. So it seems to me as if she's not really a good singer from what I can tell. Now, I would listen to some of the music, but I really don't want to because there's no fucking way that she's a better singer than she is an attractive girl. She would have to be better than Beyonce for that to work out in her favor. So let's just take that away. Now, in regards to this most recent video, this seems like it did well, spinning. Okay, fine. But yeah, generally, she's not doing well as an artist, I would say. Okay? So even if you look here, this is how she's trying to sell herself. So this is how your wife presumably is going to try to sell herself. Madison Beer is a platinum-selling recording artist, songwriter, producer, and author. Since making her music debut at 12 years old, she has developed into a dynamic and versatile artist whose sound blends multiple genres. Okay, well, I mean, if that's true, then where's the sustained success? Also, with 2.4 billion streams. Okay, come on. Those are inflated numbers. There's no way that's true. Even if it is, those numbers don't really mean anything, okay? All right, so let's go on to her Instagram. Or we can do her website. So you look at her website, it's like basic white girl stuff. Okay, fine. So, I mean, she's trying to make her own little music career. Her merch is awful. God-awful merch. And, of course, she's the model for all of her clothes because she's a beautiful girl. But, I mean, that's all that she's offering, unfortunately. Anyway. So she has an Instagram with 800 posts. Red flag, but, of course, she's famous. 37.5 million followers. Amazing. 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 So let's just give a little bit of a sampling because there's clearly way too many to go through here. So, I mean, you can just kind of tell that she's posting a lot of pictures. I mean, none of them are nude, and you have to give her credit for that because a person in her position would have already started an OnlyFans. So, I guess you can give her a little bit of credit for that, that she hasn't completely manipulated the use of her body. But you could also say that a girl that doesn't go nude is also keeping her sexual, like, she's keeping her body more attractive because people are kind of like imagining what she looks like underneath. So, in a way, she is exploiting it more so than a person that is naked, naked. But getting naked for such a big audience is a sin in and of itself. So we are still going to give her a W on that. So anyway, we're going to be scrolling all the way to the bottom. And one thing I will tell you that I like a lot about her is that she has a perfect skin tone. And what I mean is that she is not white. She is not brown. She is like bronze. And it is super attractive to me because in my opinion, the hottest women are girls that are basically like mostly European, but also a little bit brown. Like I met a girl that was Sicilian, and that's like the sort of skin color I'm talking about. All right, so let's look at her most oldest post so that we can get an basically a sample of what we're talking about. So her first post was 11 years ago when she was 13. So again, she's around studios all the time. So already at a young age in studios, that's not a good sign. You know, when I was talking about how at 12 years old she was doing Justin Bieber covers, I was expecting it to be like, oh, I'm a girl, with my ukulele in my mom's bedroom. Like that's kind of cute to me. But this sort of like, oh, I'm in a studio at like 12. That's weird. Like, okay, so you come from wealth, or why else would you be there? Anyway, she's kissing a Bieber thing. This is very wholesome and cute. Back then when I was 10 years old, I would have called this gay, but this is kind of cute. In retrospect, the whole Bieber thing, if a girl finds Bieber attractive, that's probably a good thing. She doesn't find a gangster attractive. Okay, she has a wholesome smile picture. You look at here, this is her Facebook or Instagram from 2012. She had 1,500 followers, and that was when she was like 14, so that's notable actually. Okay. Another picture, like old school, like 2014-ish. Okay, this is kind of cute. This is like a picture with her younger brother, I suppose. So, I mean, she seems to be pretty well adjusted, like just like this, like normal girl sort of thing. Even like these, like, okay, she doesn't look attractive here, obviously, but I mean, it is kind of like, aw, you know? And okay, so she has her little girlfriends here. She's got, like the picture with the beanie. Again, so these are wholesome. Like, actually, these are wifey qualities. And that's kind of weird because I'm talking about her pictures from when she's like 14, but I'm saying like, this is the sort of thing that you want. Like, if you look at a girl who's hot at 25, 10 years behind, you want to see pictures where she's fully clothed with her little Starbucks, with her little girlfriends at a sleepover. Not the sort of like, oh, I was already in a bikini then, because that's not wholesome, obviously. Now, granted, she's 14 here. Apparently at 15, she's sending nudes already. So you can kind of see how women, when they hit puberty, can really fall off quick when it comes to the morality or their, sanctity. So this sort of picture I really like, right? Okay, so would you call this conservatively dressed? I don't know. But like, again, very cute, smiling on a piano. I like this a lot. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going, folks. So this, again, very cute. Because I remember being in middle school, a lot of girls took this sort of like half picture here. Very adorable sort of thing. Her playing the piano, very wholesome. When girls take pictures of their dog, that's a good sign as well. She's posting some pictures of her father, I presume. That's good. Pictures of her grandmother, that's cool too. She's in the recording studio already. That's a bad sign. Even this like bikini picture is not too revealing either, in my opinion. So that's good. She's watching American Horror Story, which is a really good show. So that's good taste. So again, W. This is a picture with her mother. Her mother is an attractive girl too. Kind of short hair. You can kind of see like the Jewish sort of lesbian sort of stereotype here, but obviously married with children. So not necessarily befitting of the role here. But anyway, here she has different dyed hair. So what do you guys think of this hair? I would say personally that she has makeup here. She already is like peacocking as an adult, and she's what, like 16 here? She already posted nudes at this point, by the way. So at this age, her nudes were already out. She got PTSD and tried to kill herself twice over this. So you can see how she dyed her hair. It's a different aesthetic, okay? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So skinny girl, again, not really peacocking too hard, not very revealing clothing. Again, she's 16 here, I think. Anyway, let's keep going. She's already on a magazine. Okay, that's not a good sign for Wifey. Vogue Italia, out now. Damn, that's tough. That's tough. Anyway, let's keep. She's singing here, piano covers, speakers, singing candidly. Okay. Dyed black hair still at 17. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, you can kind of see how this aesthetic is kind of cute, and it's also not very revealing. which kind of shows that she was actually raised well. And what I mean is that she still loved her parents, okay? Typically, a girl doesn't embrace her sexuality if her parents love her, at least like not as a whore would. And so that's a good sign. Now, obviously, if she's getting into modeling, it's kind of sus. But I mean, still. And even this black guy in the photo is like her gay best friend, okay? So, I mean, this is still like very much like safe white girl sort of thing. So, I guess that's okay. Now, here she's taking a picture with a drag queen, which is fucking gross. But at the same time, she's not a Christian or anything from what I know. So, I mean, I'm not expecting any better than that. And, a lot of girls that will take pictures with like all these like trans people are not really thinking much of it anyway. So, I wouldn't really hold it against her. So, anyway, let's keep going on. She's watching Fight Club. All right. So I guess that's also good taste. This is a fantastic picture. Again, pretty slutty outfit, not going to lie. Even more than a bikini pic because it takes a special sort of consideration to wear like the schoolgirl outfit with the crop top or whatever you call this like boob thing. Very attractive, but also very slutty. NGL. I like this. Typically you'd be posing in a bikini with this flamingo or whatever, but here she's like, with her, is that a cocktail dress or something? I guess that's like relatively conservative. She posts a picture of like this. I don't even know why. That's kind of weird, but okay. That's kind of interesting. Okay, she's keeping things exciting. Here, I like this picture a lot. Very, like her skin is fantastic. Again, she's like a 9 out of 10. Complete beauty. Utterly amazing. But, picture with her bald father. So, again, that's a good sign. She's posting her dad. That means she likes him. Okay, good, good, good. Usually, a girl liking her dad is a good thing, like at least 95% of the time. Then there's like the 5% where she's like way too attached to her father. Like typically if a girl only gets validation from just her dad, that is a bad thing, okay? Whereas if a girl is like if you're pretty, your dad loves you, but also a lot of guys around you love you and people like you because of your personality and because you're hot, that means you're good. But if you're just adored by just your dad, that is disgusting, okay? Because if you're a good girl, you ought to be adored by everybody. So if you're only getting attention from your dad, that means you're a loser. So just because a girl likes her dad does not mean that's a good relationship. It just means it's a good relationship like 95% of the time. Okay? But if she has nobody else loving her, then she's a loser. That's a heuristic. Tough lessons learned recently, okay? Let's see what else she's got going on. Already at concerts. This was 2018, so she was what? 20? No, she was 19. Okay. So already kind of peacocking as a starlet or whatever, which is fine. And, I guess her sort of aesthetic is somewhat wholesome given, the reality of Hollywood is that, typically she would already been naked. Granted, she already was naked at 15. But that's also another red pill, by the way, is that this girl sent her nudes at 15 before she had self-worth. A pretty gorgeous, like seriously, like one of the hottest girls on the planet, Madison Beer, sent her nudes to probably some random football player at 15 years old in high school. When now she would have to be paid like $10 million to pose nude. Just imagine how these girls devalue themselves in high school, how easy it is to get a girl in high school when she's underage. It is so appalling that these girls have not the self-esteem to reject these guys and not to post their nudes. So it kind of shows, and that is somewhat depressing, that these women, and I guess girls in this case, like 15, 16-year-olds, are willing to sexualize themselves to guys that are not famous at all, that have no clout, that are kind of cute, but are beneath their league probably, in the case of Madison Beer. And she's willing to post her nudes on the internet, or not on the internet, but to like a guy. She would never do that nowadays. So the rule of thumb in this case, my point that I'm making here is that a girl is only going to raise her standards as she gets older, like especially after college. These girls in high school don't know what they're worth. And it's kind of sad that she was, trying to kill herself twice over something that she wouldn't do nowadays. Sad, right? So red flag over there. And, from what I can tell, she seems to have a good relationship with her parents, but she still she still sent nudes at 15. So even if you do everything right, supposedly, you still have cracks go through the surface, So it's kind of sad from that point of view. But I mean, whatever. Anyway, so I guess we get the idea here. She's clearly, a good poster on Instagram. Honestly, it's pretty wholesome given what she could have the capacity to post. You have other bombshells like 9 out of 10, such as like Karina Kopf, who I can make an episode on, who is OnlyFans whore. Despite, again, being super attractive, she could string along people for the same way that Madison Beer is. But she doesn't have the finesse to do so. And you can give Madison Beer credit for being like Ariana Grande, but hotter, but not as musically talented. So you kind of trade that off, right? Anyway, she posts something in 2020 saying, "Vote, it's a piece of cake." Again, so she lives in the belly of the beast in Hollywood, and the most that she'll do for the liberal cause, from what I can tell, is just say vote, which is an inherently liberal thing because obviously most of her fan base is Democrat, I would assume. But I mean, still, if she's not endorsing Joe Biden, that's kind of cool. I'll give her a little bit of credit for that, okay? Seriously. It's like if a country singer said instead of vote for Trump, he said just vote. It's like, okay, I mean, you're kind of a pussy then. But I mean, I kind of love this sort of aesthetic here. Long legs. She's 5'6", I think, so that's a good height for a girl, honestly. Again, so cute kind of outfit. I don't know what to call this. This is like a Catholic schoolgirl. I don't know what you call this, but beautiful. This huge like life size book sort of thing. Very adorable, very pretty, very cute aesthetic. I love it. And you can just kind of see how she's holding up as actually a respectable person, like relatively speaking. So you can go through all these and you can kind of get the idea, okay, on your own time. This is way too much content. We're gonna go through her Twitter real quick before we end here. So right now it's just mostly related to her career. No real bangers to speak of. So I mean, it is what it is, folks. So anyways, so in summation, I'll just give you the full screen because you guys deserve to look at me in my full glory. So 3 or 4 wifey summary on Madison Beer is that, you know what, honestly, given all the potential she has to whore herself out, she really doesn't do that. And I think you gotta respect her for that. And I think she is a 9 out of 10, extremely attractive. Like literally the best skin tone I've ever seen on a girl. Like bronze, not tan, not brown, not white, not pale, just a caramel sort of bronze. Beautiful. She is Jewish, noted. Can't really explain why that might be a big deal to some people, but it depends on the person. Now, I am Mexican, so am I really the one to, can beggars be choosers? Anyway, so again, great skin, beautiful eyes, like beautiful, like amazing eyes, gorgeous overall. She's skinny, but also has meat on the bone, so to speak. Big milkies. You know what I'm talking about. Have I really looked at her butt? No, but I don't really care. Not going to stop me. Still a 9 out of 10. Bombshell. Better than Margot Robbie, in my opinion, but I guess she's more my type, so you could argue it either way. Also, 24 years old, good age, honestly, for most men. Obviously, I'm 20, so I'm not one to talk here. And on top of that, so I think those are the pros, right? So relatively conservative, given what she could do, right? So what I'm saying is like she could be a worse person than she is, but she's not. Second thing is that she is super hot. Third is that she's a good age. Fourth is that she's a good height. Fifth is that she got raised right, at least like generally. So I think like she does post her dad as of recently. Like clearly she has a good relationship with her parents from what she's presenting. So I'll give her credit for that. But on to the red flags. And this is what will take her out of the wifey category officially. And again, this is not really her fault. She got molested at 6 or 7 years old. I as a 20-year-old don't know how to deal with that, okay? So again, not your fault. That's really sad to hear. But at the other hand, I just frankly don't know how to deal with that. So for me personally, I'm not going to take that up as a responsibility. That's a deal breaker. 100% would not marry you if you got molested. And that even applies for like even older in age. Like if you got taken advantage of at 14, 15, whatever, still probably would not commit to that, because I honestly think that would subvert the relationship, because you would view a lot of my sexual interaction with this girl as it being like, oh, you're like the guy who molested me, or even if she doesn't do that, when she gets mad at you, she'll view you through the lens of like the guy that touched her or whatever. I think that's subconsciously what happens with a lot of girls. That might seem a little bit Freudian to you guys, but I think that kind of makes sense. I think it correlates and tracks for sure. And I think that with respect to this girl, I just think that she generally is a problem and a liability. She got diagnosed with bipolar. That's almost immediately like a complete like cancellation on the wifey. Like bipolar, again, that is hot. Like, can you enjoy some guilty pleasure pussy for maybe 2 or 3 months and then drop her? Yeah, but I mean, generally speaking, do you want to commit to this sort of girl? No. And she, again, I'm young, I'm in college. These girls are fun. I get it. But can you commit to these as like a 28-year-old? When you're 35 and you have 3 kids with this chick, are you gonna be like, damn, I'm so glad she still has bipolar and she's getting less attractive by the day? Sorry. So don't sign me up for that. So that's another deal breaker. Bipolar. She has PTSD. Why does she have PTSD, Lalo? Well, because she posted her nudes to a guy at 15 years old. Depressing. And you know what? Honestly, if a girl sent her nudes to a guy at 15 and I met her at 20 years old and she's like, well, 5 years ago I sent this guy my nudes. He was a football player. I was a stupid bitch. I know better now. I haven't done it since. That's not really a deal breaker to me, actually, because odds are that those nudes are like on some guy's Snapchat that he doesn't even use from like 6 years ago. And if you were to post them, it'd be child porn anyway, so we can't spread them around. So if my future wife did that, I wouldn't really care, because, I mean, what are you going to do? But so I guess that's not a deal breaker, but that is somewhat depressing though, that, if you were to date Madison Beer, she'd probably have extremely high standards because she is a famous girl, rich girl who's also super attractive. But those standards did not exist for the guy who either hit it first when she was a teenager or got her nudes first when she was a teenager. So that's just another red pill that, girls will heighten their standards as they get older, as they'll have a better idea of what they're worth. which again, I don't really hold it against them, but it's also somewhat depressing that I have to put in more effort than every single guy before, right? Every single guy before you was less than I am because clearly you monkey branch to me because I'm the best. So that means that I have to pay the most for the same shit that other people got to use before, which is why when Ray J said I hit it first and he was bragging about having sex with Kim Kardashian 15 years ago, it wasn't so much that I slept with Kim K. It's that Kanye, you have to marry that bitch to fuck her. I just got it for free when she was younger. W. So again, so hitting it first is one of this thing. I should make a video on that, but yeah, hitting it first, anyway. And with respect to her trying to kill herself twice, trying to end her own life twice, horrible sign, red flag, dude, really. If my wife said I try to kill myself at any point, red flag, probably a deal breaker, honestly. So 3 or 4 wifey, final verdict. She is a 3 or 4. Now, she is probably the best of the 3 or 4s. Like, she probably doesn't sleep around. She probably doesn't do drugs. She probably doesn't post her nudes. But she probably does date around and have sex. She does probably fornicate. But, I mean, is that really a bad thing nowadays? Like, in respect to college girls, like, am I really going to raise the bar any more than that? So, yeah, no. But the deal breakers are really bad. Again, the child abuse, the sex abuse, the suicidality, the bipolar, the PTSD from the nudes. Sorry, that's not going to work. I'm sorry, babe. Now, what again, 3 or 4 still means that, I would smash 110% right hand to the PlayStation 5 over there. I would totally sleep with her if given the chance. And that's just me being honest. Again, disavow. Fornication is bad. But I'm saying theoretically, in VR, in Minecraft, I would smash because she's extremely attractive. And I think I would like her personally. Now, would I date her? Honestly, if she unironically wanted to date me, I would date her for a couple months because obviously there's a lot of clout to be had. And you do get to sleep with her. And I mean, that's a learning experience. But if you said Lalo, and again, I have a very high opinion of myself, right? So like, I could be the president, I could be a senator, I could be anything, I could be a lawyer. Do I really want to sully my reputation with that? No. And you know what? You have to learn the lesson. Can you date some of these psycho bitches for a couple months at a time? You can. But can you commit to these chicks? Can you have them be your wife? Fuck no. So yeah, can you have some of that attractive psycho pussy around for a little bit? Yeah, and I'll date that. But we're dumping it. It's over. You're done, okay? Madison beer would be the ultimate guilty pleasure pussy, but I've learned my lesson, so disavow it, okay? Not a good idea. Do not sully your career with that sort of shit. You can have it as a side piece or a 3 or 4, but you cannot wifey that bitch. Verdict is in. 9 out of 10. Still would, by the way. Adios.